What's up, man? Hello. How's it going? Tomorrow I'll be checking out the Atlas Fallen updates. And then the day after that is the slime game. So I paid for the slime game because I found a decent deal on it. I hope it'll be a good game, but hard to tell because they don't have anybody that knows how to play video games marketing that. I posted some footage in my Discord a couple hours ago before I went over here to work. It looks decent enough. I'll give it an honest shot. Also, there's the Otherworld Legends update on the 8th. I'll be checking out too, so... Yeah, the name of this game is not the best. It doesn't really tell you what kind of game it is. It's kind of just like a Raid Shadow Legends type name. It's like it's just kind of a bunch of generic names put together. This game's pretty solid. I haven't gotten very far. I've only gotten past the second boss, but starting to make some progress. I only started playing last night. Let's see, you got anything good? Let's see, what are my choices here? Oh wow, that's pretty sexy right there. Alright, I think that's probably the better choice. Dragon Mark for Death was kind of a very awkward game because it kind of was early access in a way. They promised a lot of content that didn't come until like 10 months later, so the player base completely died out. I did enjoy that game though. It's kind of a 2D Monster Hunter. It was a pretty good game, but it definitely should not have talked about that major update until it was like a month or two away. I think announcing it too soon was not very smart. Made people very upset. Because that game definitely kind of had the same problems new Monster Hunter has. It's like not that much content. Now, this is personally a lot more interesting than Dead Cells because it's more like Diablo in terms of the builds you can make. That's what sets this one apart. It's not really a Dead Cells clone. It looks like one, but the combat is very different. Also, the builds are more interesting. Dead Cells was kind of Dead Cells was kind of too skill-based to a fault. It wasn't really that fun to play long-term, in my opinion. Just want to go for assassination. Oh, you can make fun builds in Dead Cells. I just didn't really like the combat that much. I still played it a good 60 hours. Just like not a super big fan of it. I think the thing that really bothers me about Dead Cells, personally, is that they're stopping support for the game, but support isn't great. I feel like they should make the mod support better before they stop updating it. That's one of the complaints about that game, is the mods aren't that great. Is that a legendary sword? Oh, wow. Vortex Slash. Can I get that right now? Where's Vortex Slash? That seems like something I should probably use. Where's Vortex Slash? How far up the tree is that? Another 4 points. Alright, well... Alright. Well, I guess we'll build towards that, I guess. That thing's pretty good. Let's try this right now. How fast is this attack? It's a little slower. I might want to buy that for the synergy. Let me see what this guy's got. Does he have Vortex Slash? Nah, he's got a bunch of junk. Yeah, I think I'm going to take this. And get the attack speed. Alright. Yeah, some people have pointed out that they've been very apprehensive towards this game because Blade Assault had promised updates that didn't get finished, but this one seems to be under a publisher, so hopefully the publisher will let them finish the game, but we all know how these things go. I didn't like Blade Assault that much personally, so I think this game's quite a bit better. I don't really care for the generic Dark Souls theme, but it definitely sets itself apart from very crowded genre of roguelikes. There's so many of these now. This one does a good job standing out. It's really hard to stand out when everybody just tries to either copy Hades or they do their own thing, but it's not as good as those games. This one is definitely trying to do its own thing, which is what makes it interesting to play. I'm kind of tired of Hades clones, personally. The only one I've really liked has been Turtles. But Turtles is also a really buggy mess, so it takes a lot of patience to play that game. It's like way buggier than it should be. Yeah, the bugs in that game are obnoxious. I hope Turtles will get fixed eventually, but I don't know, it's hard to tell. Turtles is a good game held back by being on a weak lead platform and then also being buggy to the point of impacting gameplay. So I kind of had to mention that in my overview. I'm like, yeah, I would recommend this game, but the frame rate and the bugs really hold it back. You could do a lot better for $30. $30 is competing with, like, Hades and stuff, which is kind of the problem. They're trying to... It's a Hades clone by every definition, but the stability of that game is way worse than actual Hades, and it's like the same price. So that's a hard sell. I don't know of a nice way to put that, but the Hades isn't buggy like that, so same publisher. Well, I don't know what happened with Blade Assault, but yeah, I guess that game was crowdfunded, and they didn't fully do their part of the deal or something. I didn't crowdfund the game, so I wasn't really worried about it personally, but I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I've had much worse things happen to me as a, well, one of the worst things that happened to me was I backed Wonderful 101 on Kickstarter, and then they just went ahead and got a publisher anyway. And it's like, well, then what the hell was the point of the Kickstarter? There was no point. They just made it available physically anyway. And I'm like, okay, well then what did you need the money from the Kickstarter for? It didn't help that I actually ended up like not really liking that game because it had too much gimmicky stuff, but I definitely got burnt giving them money for that game. Just did a Kickstarter for the sake of doing a Kickstarter. Wasn't actually any actual reason for it. Like, I thought the Kickstarter was supposed to be so that they could self-publish, because Platinum was really serious about wanting to self-publish at that point, but I don't know. Didn't really seem like they needed the money to me. Polar opposite. We just want to ask our community for money, even though we don't actually need it. Also, what's it called? Indivisible was pretty bad because of all the drama that was happening in their office. Like all the drama that was happening in their office. All the stuff that they promised from the Kickstarter didn't happen. So they basically had like stretch goals for stuff that doesn't exist. I don't know, that's pretty shady to me. Yeah, they did a whole ass Kickstarter, and they're like, lol, sorry, we got a publisher anyway. It's like, well then what did you need the money for? Like, what the hell, man? I thought Kickstarter was to, like, fund stuff that, you know, wouldn't get funded otherwise, because it's either too niche or they don't want to mess with the publisher, but with that game it was kind of just... Nah, we actually have a publisher anyway, sorry, we lied. I'm like, cool, then why did you need my money? Legit asking for donations they don't need. Pretty scummy stuff. It also took like 2 years for the planned content to come out too. It took like a really long time. And like you'd think with the Kickstarter money and then just kind of deciding to make a physical copy anyway, that you would get that stuff out a little bit faster, but apparently not. That stuff took ages to come out. I still get Kickstarter backer messages from them, like, how are you not done with this game already? That Kickstarter was like 4 years ago. What's actually happening a lot with Kickstarter right now is promising Switch versions of the game. I'm like, man, if I were you, I would not promise a Switch version. The Switch is struggling to run games like this. Just like a pixel art indie game. Should be like the easiest thing to run, but then the Switch ports are always like really buggy and laggy. And they promise Switch ports. I'm like, you know, in hindsight, that's a really bad idea. You should promise it for, like, the next Switch. Shouldn't promise it for the current one. Yeah, he's doing the, they're kind of hush-hush about it, but he's doing the rollback for Diesel Legacy. I don't know, I believe in second chances, and I think that they're They're handling it pretty well. They're not making him... You know, because despite the guy's problems, he is a really good programmer. So, I guess they just want his help, but they don't want to, like, really directly draw attention to it. You know, some people are kind of boycotting the game because of that. I'm like, it's whatever. I don't know, it doesn't really bother me. If nothing else, it means that game will have good netcode. It doesn't seem like he has any kind of, he's not really able to go on a power trip again, basically. Which is good for both the consumer and the people that are, making the game. But yeah, he's doing the netcode on that game. Well, the Switch successor is supposed to be announced either late this year or early next year. I think the investors want it to come out by like the first quarter of next year or something. So we'll probably start talking about it soon. It's anyone's guess if it'll have a good lineup, though. Nintendo console lineups are kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes you get like a lot of really good stuff in the first few months, and then other times it's like the N64 where they had like literally like 3 games. The first like couple months of N64 were really rough. It was one of the biggest things that made it hard for them to compete with PlayStation because they had so much fewer games. They had like barely any games at all. I mean, they came out pretty strong with Mario, but like most people, at least in my circle, didn't really care for Pilot Wings or Wave Race. And those were like literally the only games you had to choose from. PlayStation had a lot more. The sheer quantity of it was pretty nuts. So hopefully, the Switch has been kind of dead for a while. Hopefully that means that when the Switch 2 comes out, there'll actually be some games worth playing. Yeah, if you didn't like Mario on the N64, there was like no reason to get one. They had one really good system seller, but they had like almost nothing else. So if Mario wasn't your thing, it was not worth buying an N64. Especially because Ocarina of Time constantly got delayed. That game got delayed an insane amount. That game got delayed until like almost 3 years after the console had been out. So a lot of people were pretty upset about that. came out pretty strong, personally. It had good fighting games. It had Ridge Racer. There was a couple RPGs, and that was just like the American lineup. The Japanese lineup was even better, I think. But yeah, they had a lot of different kinds of games. It felt like whatever you liked playing, there was something decent at launch, like right when you bought it. I can't really say that for like stuff like the N64. The Switch and the PS4 were kind of the same for me, personally. I got my PS4 in like 2016, so it was good like three something years in, and I actually felt like there was something worth playing on it. But like the first couple years of the PS4, there just wasn't anything really worth playing. The lineup was very barren, mostly remasters. And since I had a PC, it wasn't worth buying a whole console just for that. The Switch I got a year after launch, and it finally started to have some games I wanted. But yeah, Switch was kind of the same for me too. It wasn't anything worth the investment. It got a really good lineup later on, but I wouldn't say it had something for everyone. It just had sheer quantity of games, which is what the N64 lacked. The N64 obviously had some of the most influential and important games of the entire medium, but actually having one as your main console back then really sucked. Because you'd go months without anything to play, and like the third-party support was also really bad because they stuck with cartridges. There was a lot of stuff worth playing, personally, but it's a lot better now that you can just play the stuff that's worth playing. Actually having one as a kid, low-key, sucked. And you don't hear a lot of people talk about that because they're looking at it through a modern lens where you can just go download the ROM or get the remaster and just play the stuff that's worth playing. But having it back then was low-key ass because you just go months with nothing. This is Dragon is Dead. I mean, pretty much the entire Nintendo community all had a collective mental breakdown when Ocarina of Time kept getting delayed. like, Nintendo fandom didn't take that very well. I mean, for good reason. It was like the main system seller, and it was kind of a no-show for several years. Ocarina of Time was a good, like, 2 years before... 2 years after release. You have to look at it this way. The PlayStation had like 6 times more games. It's something like 5 or 6 times more games than the N64. So that just means by sheer probability there's going to be more things worth playing, even though there's just as many bad games. N64 has like under 400 games, and then when you subtract all the trash like the sports games and stuff, it's probably more like 320. That's not that many. N64 has a couple games that are like really amazing and still hold up, or at the very least they're very influential, and then the rest is Ocarina of Time, and then there would be like nothing to play for like 3 months. I remember I would just rent random stuff at the video store because there wasn't anything else worth playing. Actually, come to think of it, the PS2 launch was not that great. I definitely think Dreamcast launch lineup was quite a bit better than the PS2. PS2 eclipsed it in good games, obviously pretty quick, but like the actual launch PS2 lineup was not great. We had like Bouncer and Fantavision were like the big games. And like those games weren't really that great when they were new. Yeah. If you were a Dreamcast owner, you definitely had that over, PS2 owners, so that there was actually a much better lineup at the time comparatively. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize this, but like, Dynasty Warriors, that was the height of Muso popularity, was that game. Just because there wasn't much else to play. And in terms of like having all the enemies on screen and stuff, it was a pretty big example of the console's power. A lot of people forget that fact. Like, Muso was pretty popular, actually. As there became more stuff to play, that became less so, but definitely that game was pretty popular. Dynasty Warriors 2 was pretty popular. People definitely have revisionist history with the PS2. It's obviously one of the best consoles of all time, but at launch, it definitely was objectively worse than the Dreamcast. It definitely was legit much worse. There was a lot more to play at the Dreamcast at that point, even though we had only had it for like a year. I didn't get a PS2 until like 2001, 2002, because it was the same thing as the PS4. There just wasn't anything worth playing for me. None of the kinds of games I liked were really on there. I had fun playing with it at friends' houses, but I never really wanted one. I got one like around the time Dynasty Warriors 3 dropped. I don't know, if I got a Switch 2 at launch, it would either be because, like, Koei announces some banger Muso game, or I just get it for the sake of hacking it. Because I personally got very lucky with my Switch. I did a fundraiser for it from you guys, and I got enough donations to cover half of it, which is nice. And I paid the other half. And I just kind of got lucky that mine could be hacked. But yeah, that's low-key one of the better reasons to get a console on launch. I'm sure that shit's gonna be like mad lockdown this time though, because the whole reason you can hack the Switch is because it's like an actual physical problem with it that causes it to be exploitable. Yeah, that would definitely would be one thing that would influence my decision to get one. But I definitely would like some actual software to play above that. I don't know how much they're going to have that I'll be like really interested in. It had to be quite a bit because I've got a Steam Deck and a good computer. Like the only thing I'd be using that for is exclusives. I'm really not the right market for it anymore. Being heavily invested in Steam and having a Steam Deck and then also having a gaming PC kind of makes you not really want consoles much anymore. These are both kind of good choices. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Build kind of sucks. That other one I was using was better. This build kind of sucks. That other one I was using was better. Garbage damage. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a better build next time. This run's cooked. Crap damage. The 360 lineup wasn't really that great either. 360 is definitely another console that has revisionist history. Keep in mind, the stuff that people look back fondly on for the 360, stuff like Halo, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, all of those were like 2 years after launch. It was pretty barren before then, like very barren. That's kind of the problem when people look back at consoles, is they think about like their best memories of it, but then they don't like remember what it was actually like having one at the time. 360 really didn't have much on the PS2 at launch. Once it started getting like actual games instead of ports, it became better, but yeah, pretty much all the big stuff, the GTAs, the Call of Duties, the Halos, DMC, Lost Planet. Well, Lost Planet was a little bit earlier, but still wasn't in launch window, I don't think. It wasn't until like 2007 that 360 was really worth having. So a good 2 years after launch. Before that, pretty much the main thing that you had was Dead Rising. all the popular games were at least a year or two away by the time Dead Rising was a thing. I don't know why they're remaking... They call that new Dead Rising remaster a deluxe remaster. It sure as hell looks like a remake to me. I just wonder, like, are they gonna, like, actually update the game? Because, like, the time part of it is, like, legit part of the game design. The problem is that the AI is really dumb. And that's what makes that game frustrating to play. The AI for the survivors is really stupid. But it's like at the same time, if you take that out, the game's going to be too easy. Because it's not really much of an action game. It's more of like a open world time management thing with, you know, you can fight stuff, but the combat's like not really the primary focus. Like, are they going to make the AI not stupid? I feel like that's one of the things that pisses off people more about that game than the time. Once you learn the game, they give you more than enough time to get everything after you level up a bit, but the AI being stupid never stops being a problem. It's like the main thing about that game that's actively frustrating. The time element is like not really the frustrating part. That mostly just comes down to preparation and memorizing and planning. Once you level up enough, like, the combat part becomes really trivial, so you kill things a lot quicker, which makes you go faster just by proxy. But the AI is always dumb as dirt. It makes the game frustrating, so I'm curious how they're going to handle that. They're going to keep it, like, authentic, and, like, yeah, the AI being dumb is just kind of part of the game's design. Or are they actually going to make them not stupid? It's actively the most frustrating thing about that game. It got a lot of flack for the time limit when it came out, but if you actually sat down and played it, that wasn't really what was bad about the game. Yeah, this run is cooked. I'm going to switch games after this. Kind of got to start learning how to make builds before I can get anywhere. I don't really care for fire that much. I think I'm going to go ahead and spec into lightning. Let's see. Yeah, put that back on. I like how, in Dead Rising 4, they just got rid of the time limit completely. Which, it's funny that people complained about it, because it was like the main thing that people hated before. But then when they got rid of the time limit, people realized, like, wait, it was the whole thing that made this interesting. Because without the time limits, it's just a jank Muso game. It's just a worse Muso game without the time management aspect, which is precisely what happened when they took it out. I don't know if that was the best idea in retrospect. Like maybe sometimes you shouldn't listen to what people are complaining about. Definitely a good example. Hey, what's up, Scotty? Yeah, I'm gonna leave in like 45 minutes, alright?
Yeah, good.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, just whatever you want.
Yeah, go ahead and chill out, dude. Good job tonight.
Yeah, whatever you want. Just eat that food.
Yeah.
If you want to get away with that, just sit. Remember, you have a key. You know what to do, right?
Yes.
That's what I'll play now, roll out now. Yeah, I just want to hear some things. A lot of times, yeah, you know what to do. You know how to right now. You're okay, right now.
Game is pretty solid. This is one of the more high-profile roguelikes I never played. It's getting a big expansion in October, so I'll definitely... I probably won't play this at home too much, especially not in the next month, because I'm kind of overbooked on games to play. But when I'm over here, this is a perfect game to play because it's Steam Deck kosher, meaning that I don't lag when I'm streaming it. I tend to notice I don't stream over here that much, and really the only reason is because I've mostly been playing stuff that doesn't run well when you stream. But obviously this could run on a phone, so it's a good choice. Stream game. Dragon is dead as well. Probably mostly play that over here. It's nice when the games I'm playing are like indie pixel art, because it means I can actually stream them when I'm over here. And I'm over here 4 to 6 hours a day. Like when I'm playing stuff like Megaton Musashi or a Muso game or something, I kind of like, I can't stream it because it lags too much. Megaton Musashi kind of really catfishes you with the performance on Steam Deck. It runs fine in the story mode, but then when you got to the end game raids, which is the part where, you know, it mattered, it ran pretty poorly. game's pretty sick. I'm definitely liking how we're getting away from cooldowns in these kinds of games, because Turtles kind of plays like this quite a bit with you have to normal attack to do your moves and stuff, which makes it a lot more interesting. Cooldowns in these kinds of games are pretty whack, honestly. Do I have to take these? What's this? I'm gonna take this one. Oh, it goes away completely. Thought it meant he couldn't change it. Well, oh well, gotta learn somehow. That's actually still pretty good though. Oh, I guess you can free the curse. Oh yeah, that was definitely worth taking then. Having an extra charge is pretty busted with that shield. Pretty much just keep it on all the time. Unfortunately, I have to go soon, so this run's got to end pretty quick. My curfew is 10:30 and it's 10:10 currently. Try to speed this up a bit. I think this game has interim saves like Muso games, so I'll get as far as I can in the next 20 minutes. But yeah, it's starting to get late. I need to get going soon. Alright, let's see if this build holds up in here. There's like one level after this, I think. No, Lost Castle 2 is not something I can play on Steam Deck. Can only play that game at home. It, despite looking like a Flash game, too, so I'll have to start playing that on stream, but I cannot play that on Steam Deck. It drops frames to the point of impacting gameplay, unfortunately. They need to optimize it a little bit more. I won't really have time to test it on Steam Deck because I gotta go in 20 minutes. But, maybe tomorrow's stream. This is Ember Knights. Alright, I have not seen this boss before, so if I pull this off, it'll be completely blind. I haven't watched any spoilers on this game at all. I kind of just picked it up. So I was looking for a new roguelike to play. Let's see what happens. Yes, I'm good, Scott. Yeah, I'm busy right now, Scott. Oh, nope, this run's not gonna make it. Damn boss has got gimmicks. Doesn't just die quick. Scott, I'm busy right now. What do you want? Oh, you did? Oh, good. Good job, Scott. Yeah, that's important. That's important to have.
Yeah, we're going to have to
Yeah, keep wearing that, okay? You won't lose your keys that way.
I don't, yeah, I keep that habit, yeah. I'd have to prove otherwise.
Alright, folks. That's gonna do it for now. I might actually stream when I get home. I might play some more Breaking Show. I don't really want to start any new games right now because the Slime Tales game is out in like a day and a half. So I'll probably play some Turtles. I guess I gotta play some Lost Castle 2 now, since I saw that one, the poll that I posted when I first got here. So I'll probably play some more of that tonight. But this game's kind of bunk to play on Steam Deck because it lags quite a bit. The particle effects really lag when I'm not streaming, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I am streaming. In the morning, there's the Atlas Fallen, the New Game Plus update. So I'll be checking that out. Hopefully they fix the performance issue that was making it run like shit on my computer. But we'll check that out in the morning. So let me go ahead and go home now. Let me change, take my meds, hydrate, grab a snack and stuff. And I'll see you guys again tonight. Give me like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Probably by 11. You can see it's 10:22 my time. Probably by 11, I'll be back and we'll play some more roguelikes or something that's not a big time investment because the slime game is out on the 7th. Also, I did buy Gundam Breaker 4 Deluxe Edition, thanks to the cats that I take care of here. They paid for about 70% of it. I paid for the rest out of pocket, but the cats paid for a decent chunk of it. So I got the season pass for this and everything. Only reason why I did that is because the season pass added a lot to Gundam Breaker 3. So I know it'll be worth the money. But yeah, this game's monetization is kind of whack, honestly. It's an extra $30 for a deluxe edition, and then if you pay an extra $10, all you get is like a diorama mode, which is basically just a photo mode. I don't really think that's worth $10. I would expect like, I don't know, some exclusive character or something scummy like that, but like all you get is a diorama. So you see the deluxe edition is what I bought, so you get a bunch of early parts so I can try out a bunch of the movesets. That was like one of my main big motivators for getting it. And then you get the season pass. But then for the ultimate, all you get is basically just photo mode. That's not worth $10 to me. You can get a whole ass like indie game for that. That game I was just playing, Ember Knights, was like $10. Anyway, let me go ahead and get home. I'll see you guys in like 40 minutes.